What's up, guys? This is Soundwave Jordan here, and we are back once again with some more gaming news. In today's gaming news, we are going to be discussing Darksiders 3. That's right, guys. We have some more news regarding Darksiders 3, and this news, well, it's going to be pretty darn fast, pretty quick. It's pretty darn self-explanatory. As you guys already know, I posted many Darksiders 3 videos in the past for the last couple of weeks, and of course, I notified you guys saying that IGN was going to be having a Q&A and AMA with Gunfire Games, the developers of Darksiders 3, and of course, that's where the community of Darksiders is able to ask pretty much Gunfire Games any type of questions that may relate to Darksiders 3 or something else. And of course, we finally got our answers, and of course, I will be sharing it with you guys. So pretty much think of this as a roundup. We're going to be having a AMA roundup, so we can actually talk about what are the things that we can expect in Darksiders 3 and what's going to be happening with this game in terms of gameplay, combat, lore, story, everything along those lines, and of course, and most importantly, the development. Because most of us would like this game to be a lot better than the previous installments. Obviously, the previous installments were awesome, but we just hope that Darksiders 3 will be able to live up to that. So let's actually get on with it. Enough of me talking. We're going to read this article together. It's pretty darn lengthy. However, there are a lot of important questions answered. So let's get to it. Let's start reading right now. Darksiders 3. Ask the developers anything IGN first. What do you want to know about Darksiders 3? Update. The team at THQ Nordic and Gunfire Games has seen your questions and added that they're thrilled to hear all of the interest from potential Darksiders 3 players. See below for their responses, and as always, for more on Darksiders, keep it right here on IGN. We've been covering Darksiders 3 all month long as part of the IGN First, and to close things out, we would like to offer you a chance to ask the developers at Gunfire Games your burning questions about the apocalyptic action-adventure sequel. For things we've already covered, check out our hands-on preview and everything we know about the game's protagonist Fury. So let's start off with the first question. Will you be using motion capture for the characters' movements and facial animations in the final product? No. Much like the previous Darksiders games, all of the animations are done by hand by our talented animation team. Plus, demons aren't very cooperative when it comes to motion capture. So I like that. It's pretty darn awesome. The thing about Darksiders, what keeps it so rich and what keeps it so authentic, especially in terms of the art style and visuals, is the fact that it's literally animated by one animated team. There's no motion capture, there's none of that. It's drawn out and it's so freaking awesome. So I'm happy that they're going to be sticking with the roots. Let's continue. Is Joe Mad, aka Joe Madura, designing any characters other than Fury? While we are close with Joe and he works also with THQ Nordic on a project, we can't confirm anything here. So from what they're telling us right now, I will believe that Joe Madura, even though he's not working on the game, they're probably getting advice from him, getting some pointers, getting some notes, just little things, because he is one of the original founders of the Darksiders franchise, and he's pretty much created this whole entire universe. So of course, people will have to go towards him to see if can they get approval, what do they think, asking for his thoughts and his blessings and all of that. So let's continue. Will New Game Plus mode be present, and will we be able to do it more than once? Since the previous Darksiders had it, we will likely have it. As for multiple, we will definitely look into it. So, okay. So, it's just something that may be returning. Not bad. Why was Fury's design changed from how she looked in the comics? Characters change. Aesthetics change. From Ward's initial conception, he went through 4 major visual revisions. One of them even made it into screenshots. We felt like she needed an update for what we had planned, so we got Joe Mad to do what he does because we knew the changes would be for the better. So I like the fact they actually had Joe Madura, work on Fury's design a bit, and of course have it updated because, as you guys already know, we saw Fury in the comics before. She's she pretty much had less clothes on. I do believe she had less clothes on, but I guess they want to give her a warrior type look, in which I approve, so I have no problems with it whatsoever. So on to the next question. Is Darksiders 3 going to be at E3? We will not be at E3, but Fury will be making another appearance soon. So they're not making it to E3. I kind of expected it. As you guys already know, Darksiders 3 was recently announced, so I did not really expect it to be shown at E3. But I do believe it may be shown at Gamescom and probably the VGA Awards later on this year. So that's just my personal input. Are there plans for Darksiders 4? Anything is possible, and the gears are already turning on what the story would be. So pretty much Darksiders 4, if it were to happen, this game has to, Darksiders 3 has to, sell good, sell well, get good ratings, have a great feedback within the, gaming community and all of that. So pretty much it's what every developer would say. if this previous installment is good, then the next installment will happen. So it's pretty self-explanatory, at least to me. Number 7. Will there be optional hidden areas with optional hidden bosses? We love hiding goodies in all the nooks and crannies of the world for players to find. So yes. So I kind of expected that. Darksiders 2 has a lot of hidden bosses and a lot of optional bosses and quests, and I wouldn't be surprised if they, incorporate it into Darksiders 3. So I like the fact they're actually taking notes from the previous games as well. What is Fury's true form, if she has one? She has one, we're just not ready to reveal it yet. That's going to be so exciting. As you guys already know, the Horsemen has their true forms, War has his Chaos form, Death has his Reaper form, and Fury, I'm actually really interested in what it's going to be. So it's going to be something crazy, I do believe, but I cannot wait. So I guess we got to wait in the future. Let's go down. Will the RPG, loot, armor, and weapon system from Darksiders 2 be back at all? All we'll say is expect something new and unique for Darksiders 3. I would like to say that they're not gonna exactly take it from Darksiders 2. However, they're gonna have their own type of loot system, whole RPG system in Darksiders 3. They wanna have a couple of things from Darksiders 2, but not too much of it. They want to keep it unique. So it's gonna be interesting on how it's gonna turn out. Number 10. How will this installment affect the Darksiders universe? What will make Fury stand out from the other writers? The original Darksiders story acted like a book ends for the story of the Horsemen. In Darksiders 2, we found out what Death was doing during that time, so it just makes sense to show what Fury was doing. Each of them play a very important role in the events of the Darksiders universe in their own way. The biggest standout for Fury gameplay-wise is that unlike her brothers who rely on discovering gadgets to get them around the world, her unlocks are a lot more holistic and integrated into her and the way she plays. So pretty much, instead of just fighting random things around the world, pretty much Fury is going to be having this type of equipment on her. Pretty much we're going to be unlocking things instead of her actually trying to find things, instead of her trying to find random things to help her progress through the dungeons and all of that. Pretty much all the weapons, all the gadgets, it's going to be through her, and it's going to be very, very awesome because, well, I would like to know what Fury has up her sleeve in terms of gear, equipment, weapons. It's going to be very interesting. So let's continue. My question is, what made you guys choose to do Fury before Strife, given how tight the two of them are in the book and graphic novel? Why is Strife not on the mission with Fury, or will we have to wait for Darksiders 4 to find out? You'll just have to wait and see. Fury has a very interesting story arc that unravels through the game and should answer these questions. So, I don't know. I would have liked Strife to be part of Darksiders 3 instead of Fury, but I do not mind Fury at all. Fury is pretty darn awesome, but a lot of people like Strife because he's a cool looking gunslinger and all of that with his epic mask, and him and Fury, they're pretty tight together. They're very close, and of course people would like to see them close together and all of that. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is, expect things to be unraveled in Darksiders 3 in terms of what Strife is going to be doing, and possibly we may even see him in the game. So be on the lookout because of course we're going to get a lot more details in the future. So let's go on to the next question, shall we? Go down. What was the most difficult part about working on the Darksiders franchise? Darksiders is such an augmentation of so many different things: puzzles, combat, exploration, story. In games, it's often hard to just nail one of these elements and make them feel right. In Darksiders, we have to nail all of them, not to mention finding ways to seamlessly blend between them. We know the combat will be compared to the best combat games out there. We know we have make puzzle. Oh gosh, was that a typo? Oh, holy. We know we have to make puzzles that can stand toe to toe with other puzzle games out there. We strive to make the memorable characters that people get so excited about the way they want to make fan art and cosplay as them. It's a challenge for sure, but we love it. So, pretty much I like to think of Darksiders as a jack of all trades. It has a whole bunch of gameplay elements from a variety of games, and of course it's going to be very, very difficult to have it completely mastered for each of them. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is, don't expect anything too crazy. However, expect them to be working on this at their best, because Darksiders, in my opinion, it's a jack of all trades. It's not something they completely master with each of the elements. However, they do a pretty darn good job, and there's always more room for improvement. So that's pretty much how I feel about that. On to the next question. Will there be finishers in the final game? Yes. That's awesome. We all love finishers. It's pretty darn awesome. Will there be other weapons? Yes. Okay, we don't want to only use a whip. Will combat have more combos than just the 3 basic attacks in a row? No. Of course, this is Darksiders games. Expect lots of combat options. I mean, Darksiders 3 only having 3 basic attacks in a row, that would be pretty darn pretty darn silly in my opinion. I'm pretty sure that guy was just referring to the pre-alpha footage, because in the pre-alpha footage we only saw Fury doing 3 basic attack combos in a row. But of course that was only pre-alpha footage, but I guess the guy was just concerned. So obviously Darksiders 3 particularly, will have a lot more combos in the game, and of course we're going to be looking out for them. So just expect that. Of course, the game isn't going to have 3 basic combos. If that game were to have that, it will be a huge backlash from the community, and I'm pretty sure Gunfire Games will be, well, yelled at throughout the internet. So, yeah, but I'm glad to know that they confirmed it. This game will have a lot more combos than we already saw, but what we saw was pre-alpha footage, so I didn't even expect that to be in the final game and all of that. So, on to the next question. 16. Here's a question. Can you explain the skill tree in 5 words to us? There is no skill tree. Next question. All jokes aside, players should expect something new, unique for Fury's progression in the same way Darksiders 2 deviated from Darksiders 1. So it's pretty much relating to the same question before, as the RPG elements were going to be incorporated in Darksiders 3 from Darksiders 2. Pretty much as they mentioned, they said that the game's going to be different. They're going to have some small similarities, but expect the game to be completely different, because of course you don't want the game to be the same. You want the game to feel new and unique, and I have no problems with that whatsoever. So let's continue on with the next question. Number 17, and the final question. Will combat evolve throughout the game with more options and capabilities to keep the fights interesting? Of course, this is Darksiders after all. Fury will have a lot of similar abilities to her brothers, and quite a few unique to her. So yeah, that's all the questions, guys. That's all the questions right here. I felt like a lot of important questions were answered, and we got a lot of insight in terms of development and everything else along Darksiders 3. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about the responses from Gunfire Games? I honestly feel like, they were being honest with themselves, and they were just telling us straightforward answers. Expect this, do not expect this, we're going to have something new, we're not going to have this. Pretty much I like the fact they were being honest with us, giving us our answers that we want to hear, because of course, when it comes to developing, you have to be honest with the community, because most people like to hear what's going on in terms of the game and all of that. So pretty much that's just it right there. Those were all of the questions answered. Be sure to leave your thoughts down below, because I would love to have a nice discussion with you guys. With that being said though, guys, thank you guys for watching nonetheless. There won't be that much Darksiders 3 news from here on out, because this was the final piece of article that was from IGN's first initiative. So there won't be much news from here on out, but of course, if there is news, I will be here to give you guys the latest and greatest news regarding Darksiders 3, because this is a game I'm really looking forward to. So be on the lookout for that, guys. We'll leave all links inside the description, so you guys will be able to check it out, as well as I'll leave my Twitter inside the description if you guys would like to leave a follow on there as well. Like I told you guys before, I will be here to give you guys all the news regarding Darksiders 3. But with that being said though, once again, this is Simon Jordan here. Peace.